Hi, I'm James Shillinglaw for Insider Travel Report, and I'm here today with someone who actually we've interviewed before, although not by Zoom, thank goodness, because we were at his resort. Paul Salmon, who's the owner of Rockhouse, and we actually interviewed him a few years ago at Skylark, his other Negril beach resort. But the reason why we're talking with him today is that it's kind of like the 50th anniversary of Rockhouse, and this is a famous property, and he has put out a book about it, and we're going to talk to him about a whole lot more, and that on Insider Travel Report. Paul, first of all, hi, how are you?
I'm great today. Great to be here, James. I appreciate you, taking the time to chat.
Yeah, we were. I was down in Jamaica a few weeks ago, but we couldn't make it work. I think you were off island at that time, but it was we were going back and forth. But I didn't get out to Negril that time. Tell us a little bit about the history of Rock House Hotel in Negril.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of the first hotels, certainly on the cliffs of Negril. Back in opened in 1974. 20 years before we bought it, but opened
Yeah.
up in 1974 on in this beautiful little bay called Pristine Cove, almost at the western tip of Jamaica. The actual edge of the property, I think, is the westernmost point of the country. And it's very organic. The original two partners, there's an interesting story here. The original two partners, amongst a whole group out of Chicago that bought the hotel, met while working for Frank Lloyd Wright in Chicago in his architecture practice,
Wow.
and they had rolled out their own sort of architecture practice, and they'd found this place that they thought was paradise in Jamaica, and designed this little hotel. And they designed the original rooms there back in '73, and it opened in '74.
Wow. And so this was it was 50 years old. How many rooms total is it? It was it then, and what is it now?
Well, they started out with 14 individual sort of thatch roof villas along the cliff face down there, and we've since bought six adjoining properties,
Oh,
and now we've got sort of 8 acres down there, both across the road and on the waterfront, and we have 40 rooms there now, still keeping the boutique,
oh yeah,
flavor.
40 rooms is very boutique. Don't worry about that. That's for sure.
That's
But
right.
but
Try to keep, their design ethos, of the idea of this sort of organic hotel where the style of the hotel almost, merges with the landscape. Thatch roof, stone, natural timbers, local timbers, so the whole place is very sort of organic.
yeah, and absolutely, and that's that. When now you bought it in what year? And when you saw it, what was your concept? What did you want to create with this resort?
Well, we bought it in '94,
Right.
20 years after it had opened. And I guess for us, we were hoping, to build a little chain of hotels. The whole boutique hotel movement had just started getting traction, really, and we're pretty excited by that. I'd fallen in love with Jamaica, having sort of traveled backwards and forwards there a bunch of times. Had some partners out of Australia that were looking to do something overseas as well. And, we thought that, Rockhouse was going to be, the first of a series of hotels that we did in the Caribbean. At the time when we first started, we were thinking the Rock House and the Reef House and the Beach House, and hopefully they all wouldn't end up in the shit house. But but just doing one was way more challenging than we'd ever imagined.
I
You
know.
know,
Well, yeah, and but you the one you chose has become famous. Everyone kind of knows it in the grill. And how did you end up being this kind of magnet for celebrities? For being, what was how did people discover this?
Well, I think a few things. I mean, I think from the start, we decided that we wanted to be a responsible hotel in a developing economy like Jamaica's. And so, I mean, I think that put us in a slightly different position. We wanted to be, and I know this is much more commonplace, these days, but certainly 30 years ago was less so. And from the start, we had this idea of being responsible to, not just the guests and giving them a great stay, and our team, and are hiring only Jamaican and promoting from within. but also to the environment. And we've had a really strong environmental program for 30 years, been certified now with Green Globe for over 20 years.
Wow.
And we've also had a really strong community program and a mission that revolves around giving back through the Rockhouse Foundation that's over 20 years old now. So I think, we also put a lot of effort into the original design, keeping very much true to that original Frank Lloyd Wright inspired sort of vision,
Right.
but also growing the hotel and its facilities, putting in a great spa, and so I think there were lots of stories given our sort of mission that made it very, get a lot of press coverage over the years. And I think that kind of created a knowledge about the hotel, and sort of drew people in.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you say you were groundbreaking in terms of your sustainability, in terms of the Green Globe thing. I mean, I remember Green Globe. It was the old Sustainable Tourism Organization that was associated with World Travel and Tourism Council. And that was, now we're talking about it all the time. But yeah, sustainability wasn't always talked about. Now, but then you end up, I'm reading just from the list of celebrities you've had, a gentleman named Bob Marley, who knows him, Bob Dylan, the Rolling Stones, Christy Turlington, John Slattery, all these different people. And you say most recently, Meghan Markle likes this property, right?
Well, perhaps not most recently, but yeah, I mean, it has attracted. I mean, I've got to say that the Bob Marley, the Stones, Dylan, this was all before our ownership back in the 70s. It was really a
Okay.
mecca when Negril was a really on the hippie trail,
Yeah.
of places to go to drop out for a while. And Bob Marley actually lived on property for a few months while he was building his home down in Little Bay, which is a little bit further around from Negril, in Jamaica, and he lived on property on what's now Rockhouse property. It used to be a property next door called a Wimoway back in those days, but it's now part of the Rockhouse property. Yeah, so a lot of those people came in the early years. I mean, obviously some of those people were more in our era. Meghan Markle stayed quite a few times, before she was a princess.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Back in the days prior to that, and she used to have a blog, a travel blog called the Tig that she did, and she wrote a big story
Oh,
about.
so she was an early influencer.
That's right, one of the first out there. That's right. This is
There you go.
back in the days of Suits, I guess. When
I
she was.
get this is true. Now,
Yeah.
you're celebrating your 50th anniversary. I understand you've published a book we talked about at the beginning that kind of chronicles the history of the resort, its guests, its design. What can you tell us about the book and kind of what it reveals about your guests?
Well, I think that, look, we were talking about ways to celebrate, turning 50, and we're thinking about different things. We've come out with a rum, that's available at the hotel to buy, a 50th anniversary rum. We were, talking about different parties we were going to throw in order to celebrate. There's someone got inspired by the idea of doing a book. We had a lot of great photography over many years of the hotel. There were lots of stories that we thought we could relate. And we had no idea what it would take to do to
Right.
make a book. It takes it takes a lot more work than we thought. I guess it's a bit like buying a hotel in Jamaica. You don't really know what is going to be the challenges of it until you get into it. But or running a hotel anywhere, I'm sure is the same. But really the key is to hire great people and help you make it happen. And so, but we came up with this kind of book, and it sort of covers the early years, the 20 years before our ownership, and we found some great archival footage, photos from back in that period, and even before that. Back into the 60s, that was shot at when it was really just a green space.
Okay.
We sort of tell the story, of that early history, tell the story of the people, our amazing team, the guests. A terrific chapter in the book is by, Peter John Lindbergh, who has just, founded a new magazine called Further. He's the
Okay.
editor-in-chief there, but he used to be at Travel and Leisure and at Condé Nast Traveler as as one of the chief editors. And he wrote a terrific chapter from a guest perspective, about what it's been like to stay at the hotel over many years, coming back as a regular guest. We sort of go through the place itself and tell the story not only of the actual, the development of the property, but of our spa and wellness program.
Right.
We give recipes in the from the kitchen section. Some and talk about the food. We've got some Gossett, our head barman, gives a lot of insight into the bar program, as well as sharing some of the signature cocktails, from the hotel, and how to make them. And then we talk a little bit about the sustainability commitment, the environmental, commitment, as well as the community work we do, and sort of talking a bit about the way forward. So it's kind of a bit of an arc of a story about the history, about the philosophy, about some of the great characters at the hotel, and about the overall experience of going there.
So yeah, what are some of the great stories about people who have stayed there, who work there?
There's just a tremendous, series of characters that, that have come through the hotel over the years. We've got an incredible team there. Most of our management team, I think the average tenure of our management team is about 17 years, right? So,
Wow, that's great.
and many have been there for over 20 years. There are some incredible characters. Borley, our grounds manager, who's worked there for over 20 years, is just an effusive, fabulous guy. He does a grounds tour a couple of times a week and takes guests around to not just see, the flora and fauna of the property, but have quite a big operation across the road where we grow a lot of our own vegetables. We've got a big hydroponic farm over there. We have an organic garden. Takes you through the sort of back of house. We have a workshop. Over there where, every piece of timber, every bedside table, desk, restaurant table are all made on property. And he takes you on at our workshop, at our wood workshop there. And so he takes you through a whole array of that. But he's a very effusive Jamaican, very, funny character, and he'll pull the a leaf off a tree and get you to taste it and explain how it goes in, its healing qualities, and how it goes into various parts of like the juicing program that utilize some of these local vegetables. Tells the stories of some of the history, and local folklore around things. He's one of the great characters there for sure.
Wonderful. So those are that. Now we already talked about the changes that happen in the resort. You've added a few rooms. You're up to 40 now, and obviously there are pools and there are all kinds of things. Anything else that has happened, or anything else you're planning?
Yeah, I mean, we've continued to grow the wellness program. That's been a big part. We have we have a terrific spa on the property, and we've put in this bathhouse program where you get to you do these baths, and they're all sorts of natural local remedies and herbs that go into the bath. You can choose a various style of baths. That's been an exciting part of it. We've started to experiment with with other kinds of things as well. We every Sunday. We built over in the organic farm, we built a farmhouse, which is a spot that we do yoga and meditations. But every Sunday we have what we call our psilocybin sound bath. Historically in Jamaica, magic mushrooms have never been illegal in Jamaica. It's been part of the hippie history of Negril, a lot of people, there's been tremendous research in recent years about the benefits of psilocybin, and how it can sort of unblock neural networks, and give people opportunities to sort of have a different perspective on things. And we give this in this psilocybin sound bath. People have the opportunity to it's a very micro sort of style dose that people take through this. So we partner with a local chocolate company that does it, but a very, very micro dose. And then we do this breath works and a little bit of meditation, and then it goes into a musical backdrop for an hour. The whole thing goes for about an hour and 45 minutes.
Wow.
The plant medicine does its work. So it's sort of an interesting opportunity in a safe space that's that we've got leaders and teachers that are running the show to kind of get a taste of what that world is like. So and you can do the sound bath without doing the psilocybin component too. But
Okay.
it's an example of a different a different sort of idea of wellness. We've done other things too. Gossett, our bar manager, who's won Jamaican Barman of the Year a couple of times and is a well-awarded guy, has been with the hotel for nearly 20 years. He runs a great Rum 101 class every
Oh,
Thursday
well,
out.
I would like to be a student in that one. Yeah.
That's right. It goes everywhere from teaching the history of rum. He's got a sugar cane press, and he shows how it's derived right through to explaining the various types of rum, doing some tastings, and then teaches you one of our signature rum cocktails at the end. So
Okay. Well,
that's another example of the kind of things we're running.
and another example of why I get back down there, I got to tell
Yeah.
you. I mean, not even the spa treatment sounds pretty good too, but that's another. Now, I understand that the portion of the book sales for this anniversary book will benefit the Rockhouse Foundation, which is your charitable arm, and I think it's invested 10 million. I heard transforming childhood education in Western Jamaica. What has been the impact of that foundation?
Well, I think it's been, over the last 20 years now, it's a US, and Jamaican registered charity, a 501(c)(3) in the US. And we've raised and invested, as you say, about $10 million on 7 different school programs, as well as the renovation and expansion of the local Negril library. And I think it's had an impact on really thousands of kids now in the local community, as we've really partnered with the Jamaican government, with the Ministry of Education, and worked on public schools. Really, over the last 5 or 6 years, our main focus has been we're in a parish of Jamaica called Westmoreland, and the capital town of Westmoreland is Savannah Lamar. And we've one of our staff members was talking about the lack of services for kids with disabilities. They had an autistic child, and there's a real we're sort of country Jamaica out in the west end of Jamaica, and there's a real lack of services for kids with disabilities. And over some years, it sort of inspired us to create this inclusive school in Sav. It's in the town of Sav, and it's got about 250 kids there now from ages 3 to 5th grade, and inclusive in the way that kids with disabilities learn alongside kids that without disabilities. So
Mhm.
they all learn together in the same classroom. And each year we add another grade. So we started with the 3-year-olds, and each year we've been putting in another couple of classrooms, developing the property, and we're going to grow it all the way through high school. So we'll end
That's
up with about
great. So yeah, the kids grow
400
and they got
kids
to go
there.
to the next grade. Yeah, that's right.
That's right,
Yeah.
and so we're giving a path to all of our kids. We've got 6 therapists that work at the school, from speech therapy to physical therapy, as well as focusing on a sporting program and really about health overall. We've got relatively small classrooms by Jamaican standards in terms of size. No more than 20 kids in the class. And in order to cater effectively for the kids with disabilities, we also have 3 adults in the classroom: a senior teacher, a support, and a caregiver in every classroom. So, it's been a really positive experience, I think, not only for the kids with disabilities who are, learning to perform to the best of their abilities, but also, in terms of destigmatizing kids with disabilities, about, working together and working as a family.
Mhm.
It's been a fantastic experience, and we've ended up with a wait list that's bigger than the
Wow.
actual school itself. So, so we've got over 300 kids on the wait list to get in there now. So it's been a tremendous success down there.
Well, all good work and really to support kids down there. I was just down there with another foundation that's supporting kids that I really I'm very impressed by what you're doing. And now let's talk a little bit about where our travel advisor viewers can buy the book on Rockhouse if they're interested.
Well, it's we're about to launch it on Amazon. It's
Oh,
not
there
they
you go.
buy it on our website right now as a pre-order, under Rockhouse rockhouse.com/the book, but they will be able to buy it on Amazon. We're waiting. It'll officially launch in mid-November 2024, and it'll be available on Amazon.
You and I met first at your sister property, the Skylark Negril Beach Resort. Can you give us an update on that hotel?
Yeah, I mean, Skylark has continued to grow, and it's a great part of the experience in going to Negril that we have shuttles that go between Rockhouse and Skylark every day, multiple times, so you can visit, stay at one and visit the other while you're there. Skylark's continued to grow. We've now got 40 rooms down at Skylark. We added another floor as well as a rooftop spa at Skylark, so that's a big part of the wellness program. It skews a little bit younger, and a bit, being on the beach. It's got a Miss Lily's restaurant there, which is I remember that. We had lunch there. I remember that. Yeah. Right. A Jamaican restaurant that's both in New York and in Jamaica, but at Skylark. And it's a great fun spot on the beach and has continued to grow as well. So, and the two together make a great experience. You want to take a day at the beach, get the shuttle for when you're staying up at Rockhouse, get the shuttle down to Skylark and enjoy, the experience down there. I mean, 7 Mile Beach is one of the best beaches in the Caribbean. There's nothing better than lying out under your umbrella and getting service, getting a pina colada or a rum punch there on the beach and enjoying some jerk chicken for lunch.
That's fantastic. Now, where can our travel advisors go to find out both more about Rockhouse and more about Skylark?
I mean, I think the main spot to go is our website, rockhouse.com, as well as, call into the hotel. And we've got a team there that's happy to answer any questions that are working. We have a dedicated, call answering on the property for both properties there that can help out with any questions. The general managers of both hotels are also, if there are broader questions, happy to answer or reach out, to any of the team. Happy to support and help.
Fantastic. Well, Paul, it's great to see you again. I wish we were sitting at Rockhouse now.
Next time, I'll have to be.
And then now you tell me I can go back and forth between Skylark and Rockhouse. That sounds a pretty good deal. So hopefully we'll make that happen next year at this point. And again, it's great to see you, and so glad you're celebrating the 50th anniversary with this wonderful book. And it's just a fabulous resort that our travel advisors should book for their clients. Again, thanks very much.
Thanks so much, James. Really appreciate you taking the time out. Have a great day.
I'm James Shillinglaw, and this is Insider Travel Report.